I'm Lin-Manuel Miranda, and you're listening to Hard NOC Life.
Well, it's the NOC in full color, you see me? The Hard NOC Life, comics, movies, and TV, yeah. Pop culture with a different perspective.
Welcome to Hard NOC Life. I'm Keith Chow.
I'm Britney Monet.
What's going on, Brittany? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I had kind of a very lazy weekend, but yeah, it was good.
Lazy weekends are the best weekends.
They are.
So you didn't go see Ant-Man a second time?
No. I don't know. If I'll watch it again, I'll just probably be like when I'm like doing a full marathon of something.
When it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, like I said, I just wish that they really took it there with the ending. They could have, and it just felt like they're like, no, let's just keep it safe. So
well, it turns out you're not the only one who didn't watch it a second week in a row, because I think it tumbled 70% since last week. So it's one of the steepest, if not the steep, maybe the steepest MCU movie drop, at least in a while. So I don't know. Phase 5 isn't I remember you had called Phase 4 Marvel's flop era, but Phase 5 hasn't done much better so far.
I think that there's people who just still had hope, even though they heard reviews that in Phase 4 that, oh, okay, maybe they'll be better. So you still had like people showing up and not like really paying attention to the reviews. And now people are like, Phase 4 was not it. So I think I'm going to listen to the critics on this and wait for it to be on Disney Plus. I feel like that's what's happening. But I do think Guardians, though, won't be affected. I think Guardians will be fine. But I don't know. The other movies in the phase, depending on, they might not hit. We'll see.
Well, and I think they talked about cutting back on the number of Disney Plus shows, right? So like this year, it's just Secret Invasion. I think they moved Echo out of this year. They moved another show out of this year. Because it was supposed to be like 4 or 5 shows.
Yeah.
But now it's just going to be Secret Invasion, I think. Which, part of the problem, I think, with the MCU, honestly, in the last couple of years is that there's like new MCU content seemingly every month. And it's not special anymore. So it's like last year, particularly, like you had Moon Knight and What If and WandaVision, and then you had Black Panther and Doctor Strange. It's just over and over and over and over and over again Marvel content, and it just got to a point where it's like I don't care. It's too much to keep track of. I don't even care anymore.
I think part of the problem too was not everything was like a knockout, so it made it even worse that there was just so much to consume. I hate saying consume, but it was just so much that I can see why now people are just like, if the reviews aren't it, I'm not gonna like show up for it and pay money on it. And going to the movies is expensive, and then if AMC eventually does go through with their like tier seating plan, it's like you're gonna have less people showing up to the movies already. So it's just like, yeah, people are gonna go back to really being choosy, even when it comes to Marvel now. Before I think Marvel was like the exception, and now it's gonna probably not be if they keep putting out. I don't think it's so much the quantity, it's the quality at this point.
Like they talk about superhero fatigue, but I don't think it's because simply it's superheroes, right? It's like you said, there's a lot of it, but it's also a lot of kind of mid stuff. So nothing's really knocked you out. So why would you want to invest in it?
Yeah, the fact that I think I liked Black Adam more than a good chunk of what Marvel released is kind of just like, that's a little sad, because I know a lot of people really hated Black Adam, but I thought it was great. And so I don't know, but
yeah, Marvel's still trying to get butts in seats. And the only like big news that happened since our last podcast, I think, at least for our audience, is they announced that Steven Yeun of Walking Dead fame is finally cast in the MCU. He's one of those actors who's always like, people are always like wish casting him in a Marvel property or a Disney property, and now finally. They didn't say who it's going to be, but they said he's going to be in Thunderbolts.
And he's playing a key role going forward in the universe. So my mind went automatically to Reed Richards. That might not be, because it's like part of the Thunderbolts, and he sounds like he's part of the main team. Unless, I don't know, we're having interesting Reed Richards off the bat. But Yeah, I'm really excited. I love Steven, so
I've seen some speculation potentially an aged up Amadeus Cho for Steven Yeun.
Okay.
Either way, my thing is, fool me once, because remember on this very podcast several months ago, we were like, William Jackson Harper cast an Ant-Man in an undisclosed important role, and he turned out to be Quaive the empath or whatever. And I just feel like, I have no hope that Steven Yeun is going to be any more important than Quaive the empath or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it didn't both of their press releases are a little different. One was key role in this movie. The one is key role going larger in the universe.
Sure,
so it's like
sure.
he's gonna start off maybe in a kind of whatever role, but he's playing someone who's still of importance. But I think the Thunderbolts cast is honestly pretty stacked.
I still don't know about that team though, because it's like it's 4 Russian spies basically on the team.
Yeah, I mean,
like, give me some more. I mean, literally, it's Black Widow, Red Guardian, Winter Soldier, and Taskmaster. Those are like 4 Russian spies in the MCU. Who's the other one? Who's the 5th one?
They announced she's on the Bear.
Oh, Ghost.
No, Ghost is not going forward now.
Oh, really? Because they got rid of that poster art that they revealed at D23.
Got rid of, so it's no longer Hannah. So they're bringing in a new character, I think, who is played by if you watch The Bear, she's the girl.
Right, but they didn't say who she's going to be.
I can't remember her name, but yeah, like basically the main young Black girl on The Bear. She's going to be playing somebody in this movie. So I'm just like, okay, this cast is like pretty. It's pretty stacked.
Well, you got to think Harrison Ford will probably be in it because it's named after his character, and there's no reason you would recast William Hurt with Harrison Ford unless or I guess in this case President Thunderbolt Ross would have a big part. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm as big a Steven Yeun fan as anyone. Like he was one of my wish casts for Iron Fist way back in the day, but like I said, I got burned on the William Jackson Harper casting, and I love that dude. I've been wanting him in the MCU for so long, and we got him in a really mediocre movie in a very like minuscule part, like literally minuscule, because he's a resident of the microverse in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't know though. I hate that this cast has got me actually pretty excited. So, see, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's Marvel, what the MCU does to you.
They'll get me, so it's not like I'm not going to show up and watch something from them. Very rare that I ever really like. I don't think I'll ever actually skip out on anything, even if I just wait for it to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you're right. Guardians has something going for it in the sense that it's the like culmination of a trilogy, like, and it feels like, you say every time we talk about it, like you're going to say goodbye at least to 1 or 2 of the characters, if not all of them.
Yeah, they're all going to DCU.
And James Gunn is walking away from Marvel after it. Dave Bautista said he's walking away from Marvel after it. So it feels like a finality. It feels I'm not going to put it on the pedestal of Endgame, but the appeal of Endgame was that like, okay, this is really the end for these characters. And it was, right? Like RDJ's out, Chris Evans is out. And like going into Guardians, it does feel like, okay, this is a final chapter. I think it will do really good business. It's going to be successful, and knowing James Gunn's moving on to DC, right? Like there's some, like outside of just the movie, there's some appeal to that story. But then after that, like I don't know if is the excitement there for the Marvels? I don't know. Is the excitement there for Secret Invasion? I don't know. What else is coming out this year? Is that it? Because the Marvels got pushed to November, so I guess that's it.
And it's tied to Secret Invasion. It has to be. I don't know what else is coming out.
That must be it for
Loki.
Loki comes out this year, right? Loki and Secret Invasion are the only 2023 shows because they pushed Echo out of this year.
Yeah,
they pushed another show out of this year. So
I just hope they know.
Ironheart. I think Ironheart was supposed to start this year, and they pushed that to next year. That's not a good look that the 2 Women of Color shows got.
I know,
delayed, but
especially that one is like a disabled woman of color too. I just hope if the Marvel people are somehow listening to this podcast, I need them to understand it is not the amount of stuff you are putting out. If the quality of what you're putting out is great, people are going to keep watching, even if it's like 20 million things to watch at once. People are going to watch it. But if the quality is not there, like, you're going to start having people being like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I wish they would understand. Like, I'm not saying don't push back stuff. If you're pushing back stuff and it's going to make the special effects better and things better because you're, actually maybe paying your special effects artist great, then like, that's all good things. But if you're just pushing it back because you don't want to overwhelm people, then it's just like, I don't know, if it's not good, it doesn't matter if you push it back or not.
Right. Guess what? Goalie Nutrition is sponsoring Hard NOC Life, and you can go to goalie.com to buy apple cider vinegar gummies, their ashwagandha gummies, superfruit gummies, and super greens gummies, and you get 10% off plus free shipping if you use the code HARDNOC at goalie.com. This is honestly, I've been taking the goalie gummies now for a couple weeks, and I have to say, they're tasty and they're good for you. Have you guys been enjoying the goalie gummies?
I really like them. They're yummy, but it's a nice to add to my like routine of already like I normally take just straight vitamin C, so it's nice to have like extra supplements.
For a long time, people have praised the benefits of apple cider vinegar, and as someone who's had to like drink straight apple cider vinegar sometimes when I'm not feeling well, or I have some joint pain, and your mom is like, drink some apple cider vinegar. It's not the most appetizing home remedy, let's just say.
No,
Right.
it tastes horrible.
Like the apple cider part is like, ooh, does it taste like apple cider? And it's like, no, it tastes like vinegar. But ACV is very good for you. And the fact that Goalie has been able to put the ACV into these tasty little gummies made with pectin and fruit peels, which make them vegan, which is cool. So if you're vegan, you can still rock these gummies, because everyone knows gummies are usually made out of like gelatin and nasty shit. These are made out of complete non-GMO, gelatin-free, gluten-free, vegan ingredients, and you can get the benefits, all of the benefits of apple cider vinegar, taking these tasty, delicious, convenient gummies. So go to goalie.com and use the code HARDNOC, that's HARDNOC, just like the podcast you're listening to. Get 10% off your purchase of Goalie products and free shipping.
It's a much better delivery device for that apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
These Goalie gummies are great. You get
I
it, and
agree
it's a
100.
delicious little candy. And I've been enjoying the superfruits one. I did feel kind of refreshed after taking a few of those.
Yeah, no, but I'm loving them so far, and they're definitely tasty. If you just want tasty gummies, at least just eat them for the yumminess.
Yeah. So go to goalie.com, use the code HARDNOC, HARDNOC, get 10% off your purchase and free shipping at goalie.com with the code HARDNOC. The main topic I wanted to talk about today is one of the reasons we usually record during the weekend, but we're recording on Monday morning because I wanted to at least see the SAG Awards, which for the first time did not air on actual television yesterday. It was only streamed on YouTube, which is kind of wild. But I wanted to see who ended up winning the major categories during the SAG-AFTRA Awards, because as you guys out there listening know, Britney and I are two award season nerds. We love the Oscars. And I don't think we really had a chance to talk about Oscar season a lot so far with the ceremony coming up in a couple weeks. But the big news coming out of last night's SAG Awards is that essentially Everything Everywhere All at Once swept all the acting awards. Mm-hmm. Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress, beating Cate Blanchett, who's our biggest rival in that category. Ke Huy Quan won Best Supporting Actor. He's been the favorite all year. I think he's won pretty much every acting award except for one we'll talk about in a second. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, Jamie Lee Curtis won the Best Supporting Actress award, which I was not expecting. Everyone is assuming Angela Bassett's going to win that for Black Panther. And we were talking before we recorded that if you're going to choose the supporting actress from Everything Everywhere All at Once, it should probably have been Stephanie Hsu and not Jamie Lee. But then they ended up winning Best Cast, which is their analog to Best Picture. So going into the Oscars, SAG typically is a good barometer for what's going to win during the Oscar telecast, because it's the one category where all the acting nominees are chosen by their fellow actors, right? Mm-hmm. So if you win the SAG, good chance you're going to win the Oscar. So just not always,
yeah,
but good chance, a higher probability, particularly if you've been like racking up all of the other awards as well. Mm-hmm. So I know that you didn't see the ceremony, but what's your opinion on the chances Everything Everywhere All at Once actually gets the top prize at the Oscars, and that Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan win their particular awards?
I feel like he will win just because everyone has been enjoying his speeches, and they like, and then the Oscars, I'm sorry, like they love a feel good story. So I feel like I feel like he has nothing to worry about out of everyone from that film, or like whatever else is nominated. But yeah, Oscars sometimes they throw you in for a ringer where you're like, oh, really? That over that? And you're like, oh, okay. And sometimes it's stuff that you're just like, they purposely didn't pick this thing because of like the genre that the film falls into. You know, just like, what's her name? She should have got for Hereditary. Her name is like
Toni Collette.
Yes, like she should have won for Hereditary. She was so good. So it's just kind of like, you just don't, I don't know.
But you think EEOO is a little too weird ultimately for the Academy?
Yeah, and my mom couldn't get into the movie. Like my mom and dad tried to watch it and they were just like, it's weird. And they love, Michelle Yeoh. So like that's the cast is not the problem for my mom and dad. They're just like, it's kind of weird. But me and my brother, we were like, oh, this was great. We loved it. But we watched like, weird stuff like Doctor Who, so my parents don't really watch Doctor Who and stuff like that. So
they're not into the wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
No.
Yeah, got it.
No. I mean,
and you're saying that like that's typical of the Academy, that they tend not to celebrate genre films, and this is the genreiest of genre films, and then has a like an entirely Asian American cast too, so that's gives it a second whammy.
I would like for it to win because I feel like because I haven't seen everything else that's like nominated except for like a couple of things, and my other personal favorite is Colin Farrell's movie
Banshees of Inisherin. Yeah, I actually really like that movie a lot.
Yeah, I love that movie a lot. So like if everything doesn't win, I'm hoping Banshees will sweep because those are the only two that I'm really like emotionally like attached to.
Well, it's interesting you bring up Banshees because the other award show that happened in between podcasts was the BAFTAs, which is essentially the British Academy of film and television. And their awards show happened last week, and Banshees swept all those acting awards, and including supporting actor, where Barry Keoghan won over Ke Huy Quan. And Barry Keoghan, big deal for us because he's both Druig in Eternals and the Joker in the Batman, so he's got like credential. But that was a surprise. But the biggest news coming out of BAFTA was it was an entirely white winner list, like all the way down.
I was very surprised Austin Butler won for the BAFTAs, just because I kind of thought it was going
to be Colin Farrell if it was going to be anyone at the BAFTAs. Yeah.
So the fact that not that Austin wasn't great, because I did like Elvis. He's great, but I just think Banshees is just a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. My second favorite Oscar movie this season has been Banshees of Inisherin for sure. And I think Colin Farrell's, I wouldn't say he's the lock, because I think Brendan Fraser's been coming on strong for the best actor, but
I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not Brendan Fraser, it will probably be Colin Farrell. I don't think it's Austin, but I just think Austin Butler, I didn't think he was that great as Elvis. I don't know what the big deal is. And everyone just loves that dude as Elvis, and I'm like, I didn't get it like everybody else does.
Yeah, I don't know if because maybe I wasn't like super into Elvis and don't know everything about him, so I was like, okay, this was fun. This is a great movie. He did good in my opinion.
Well, and I think what's annoying about Austin Butler is that he kept the Elvis accent like after the movie's been out for like 2 years. And it's like, all right, dude, you're from like LA, you're not from Memphis, stop it. But I don't know. And then, he's more your generation, my generation. I don't know him as a child actor, but apparently he was like
I've seen him and stuff, but I was never like, yeah, Austin Butler. And because I also not super into guys with blonde hair. Even though sometimes I prefer my own hair to be blonde. I don't know what it is about guys who are blonde that doesn't do it for me really.
Yeah.
So when I saw the like Elvis trailer, I think I had the same reaction to the girls being like, because I was like, oh, ooh, he looks good. I was like,
with the darker hair.
Yeah, no, when I looked up, it was Austin Butler. I was like, that's Austin Butler. I was like, why doesn't he have his hair black all the time?
I don't know. I think he reminds me, is it Cord Overstreet? That's who he looks like to me from Glee.
From Glee? A little bit. I think Cord is a little bit better looking. Is
he? I don't know. They literally look like the same person to me.
Well, Cord has bigger lips because he's.
And even I know you're going to get mad. Like Boyd Holbrook. Like they all look the same. I'm sorry, Britney. They're like that. Literally three versions of the same person.
No, Boyd looks so different. He's actually one blonde man exception. I love Boyd.
I guess. All right. I will. My expertise is not in this category, but to me, it's the same dude. It's like Margot Robbie, Samara Weaving kind of.
I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I think Boyd looks a little different.
Anyway. Yeah, I'm rooting for Colin Farrell or Brendan. I mean, I haven't seen The Whale either. I would root for Brendan Fraser just because I think to your point about like narrative,
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser's narrative is
good.
stronger if he wins. So like the best actress is a toss up. Kate Blanchett won the BAFTA.
Mhm.
Michelle Yeoh won the SAG and the Golden Globe. Well, I guess they both won the Golden Globe because they split them in category.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like it's Michelle's, but you know, they rarely give people a third Oscar, and Blanchett already has 2 of them.
Yeah, unless you're like Meryl Streep, you know.
But has Meryl Streep won more than 2? I don't think she's won more than
I don't know, but
She's
I
been
know
nominated a bunch.
She gets nominated a bunch, yeah.
But I mean, and I think I said this before, like how likely is Michelle Yeoh going to be nominated again? Like should have been her 3rd nomination. I feel like Crazy Rich Asians, she should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And she should have definitely been nominated for Crouching Tiger 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like I think Kate Blanchett, like the Academy loves Kate Blanchett. They're going to always nominate her. Let her win another time. Everything Everywhere All at Once is such a unique thing. And I think one of the things I was thinking this week too about why it is such a favorite, usually during the Oscar campaign season, backlash starts coming for the favorites, and you start seeing like news articles or whatever talking about like, you know, this person was abusive on set and this person said these bad things. Like there was a story kind of burned out pretty quickly, but I saw a couple of headlines this week of that Everything Everywhere All at Once accused of anti-Semitism because Jenny Slate's character was called Big Nose in the movie. So that the Daniels had to kind of address that. And, you know, I feel like that's the kind of story that kind of gets planted in the press to like make people, because it's such a feel-good story. Like you talk about Kiki Kwan's speeches, Michelle Yeoh's speeches. The cool thing about the SAGs last night is they brought up James Hong on stage and celebrated him because he just turned 94. And, you know, he kind of like rambled for like 20 minutes. It was awesome. But like such a feel-good movie. Then you start reading all these comments about like, you know, one of the Daniels was in the Criterion Closet and he called Malcolm X a crime movie. So he kind of got blasted for that online. And of course, there's the whole Jenny Slate's character's anti-Semitic. So like you start seeing all these kind of like little kind of hit pieces against the movie. And it gives me the sense that like, oh, people are trying to like take it down a notch. What do you get that sense?
Yeah, there's a lot of, I see people complaining on it online being like, oh, wasn't that great? And I'm just like, okay. I don't know. I feel like it was a decent, like it's a really great film. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know if it's because people don't watch other stuff that for them that it's like, oh, this is too weird for them. I don't know if that's it. I mean, obviously I know there's some things that just aren't going to hit for people regardless, but I feel some people does feel like they're going out of their way to kind of like be an asshole about the film.
Yeah. Are you worried for Angela Bassett? Because she's been the favorite since the beginning of award season, but now she's lost the BAFTA, that was wild. I didn't think she was going to lose the BAFTA to Carrie Condon from Banshees, but then she lost the SAG to Jamie Lee Curtis. Now it's starting to feel like, to your point about like not rewarding genre, like everyone was kind of like anticipating this would be Marvel's first acting.
Yeah.
Do you feel like she's losing momentum? I'm kind of worried that might be the case.
Maybe, but like I'm not gonna lie, Carrie was so good in Banshees too. So it's just like I would rather Angela lose to like Carrie or Stephanie than honestly to Jamie.
Lee
Because
Curtis.
I'm sorry, like Jamie's role in the film, she did a decent job. She's a good actress, so it's not like she's ever gonna do, I feel like, a terrible job. But I feel like she did nothing in the sense of where like, oh yeah, let's give her a nomination. Right. That's how I felt about her performance. Like same with when Laura Dern got nominated. What was that movie with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson?
Oh, Marriage Story.
Yeah, like she's honestly in the movie for like 2 scenes and she's just playing a lawyer and she doesn't do anything like phenomenal. Like she did a better acting job in Little Women and she didn't get nominated for that one.
But you know, it's funny, like Jamie Lee Curtis's nomination in the past would be something where I would have thought that movie, the only nomination it would get would be for the one white person in it, because that's what used to happen in the Academy. Like Straight Outta Compton, the only nomination that movie got was for the 2 white people who wrote it. You know what I mean? Like there's really no other nomination except that. And that's typically how they reward movies with people of colors. They award the white person in those movies.
Yeah, that's how it feels. That is just, I don't know, just because it's Jamie Lee Curtis, she's getting the nomination, and not because like, you know, because I'm sorry, Stephanie, Carrie, and Angela all did better performances worthy of nominations over Jamie. So it would suck that if Jamie won the Oscar, because to me that's just like, you're just giving it to her because it's Jamie Lee Curtis, not because, you know, if a white woman's gonna win, I want it to be Carrie. But yeah, I wish that it would go to, Angela, or if I don't know if Stephanie got the Oscar nom.
Yeah, Stephanie Shu was nominated for the Oscar.
Yeah. So I hope it goes to Stephanie or Angela.
Well, I think that would be the upset if Stephanie Shu won. But
yeah.
I've been worried because like during the Golden Globes, I feel like she maybe peaked too early by winning the Golden Globe, and now she's lost like 2 of the bigger awards since. And I don't know. I mean, I'm still rooting for Angela Bassett. I think if anyone deserves to be the first Marvel actor to win an award for a Marvel movie, not just, there have been plenty of Marvel actors who've won Oscars. I have a whole webpage on my personal blog that tracks all of the Oscar wins and nominations from superhero movie actors. And that's one thing I was excited about this year, because I got to add like Colin Farrell to the list. I got to add Stephanie Shu to the list because she was in Shang-Chi. People forget she's like got a bit part in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, she's the friend who's like
she's Awkwafina and Shang's friend who's like doesn't believe anything that they say.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the Oscar's still a couple weeks away. There's still opportunity for things to change. And it's weird too because like a lot of people don't realize that the Oscars is all about campaigning and. Yeah. Like like you said, the narrative and the story. So like the more speeches people give, the more chances they may win because people want to see them give that speech at the Oscars kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep. So unfortunately, if people don't know, it's very kind of political and sometimes not always about the acting performance.
Right.
But yeah, Jamie Lee's just felt like we're just gonna nominate her because it's Jamie Lee Curtis, when everyone was like, okay, how is she getting nominations when sometimes Stephanie didn't even get nominations? So it's a little frustrating when when Stephanie's literally the other main actress in the film. So that's the only frustrating thing I think that really I've seen from this award season. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I definitely like if Ke Huy Quan doesn't win, I think that's when we riot, because that's the one category where I feel like he's a lock. Like if we were going to do an Oscar ballot, everyone's selecting Ke Huy Quan because you're going to win your Oscar pool. And if he doesn't win, if Barry Keoghan beats him or whoever else is nominated in that category, that will be the upset of the year for sure. Because I think Kate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh is a toss-up, right? Like Kate's won a bunch of awards, Michelle's won a bunch of awards. We don't know who's going into the Oscars, who's going to win that one.
Yeah, Barry, everyone is so good in Banshees too, so that one's really hard. But
but you can't beat Key, not this year.
I hope Key wins. I mean, Barry got the BAFTA, so that's like, he should be fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's British. He's Irish. Like, give him the British award, But yeah, so that's exciting to, for us Oscar nerds. This is the Super Bowl season for us, right? Like we love to follow all the stuff, but that's so it's a quick show today. We're just going to talk about that and come back next week because big stuff happening next week. We finally have The Mandalorian coming back, so we'll talk about episode 1 for next week. And Last of Us. Have you been watching The Last of Us?
I do, but I watch with my mom, so we haven't watched the episode from last week. We just watched the one with Sam and Henry.
Yeah. So we'll do a post-season wrap up of The Last of Us. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about in the next few weeks. This was a pretty light week news-wise when it comes to stuff happening in Nerd Pop. So we'll come back stronger than ever next week with The Mandalorian. Until then, Brittany, how can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Hi Brittany Monet on Twitter, Instagram, and Hive. And then if you follow I want to say it's lit pod _ something like that.
I thought you knew your name.
I did, and then I realized the other week that I may have given out the wrong handle. So I was just like, if you go to my Twitter page, basically, and you click on it, you'll see it. It'll be there. Like the correct one is there in my Twitter bio. I just always forget it.
It's too long. Maybe you guys just shorten the name.
It's more of like, I think the actual name of the podcast is too long, so we had to do a weird hyphen handle. So yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Check those out.
You can find me on Twitter at @TheRealChow, _real_Chow, and on Instagram at RealKeithChow. Follow us at The Nerds of Color on all platforms, and go to hardknockmedia.com to find this and all of the podcasts in the Hard Knock family. Give us a rating and a review if you do. Find our videos at youtube.com/the nerds of color. Support us on patreon.com/the nerds of color. And buy our merchandise at tpublic.com and search the nerds of color. Until next time on Hard NOC Life, Britney.
I got nothing.
That's the last word. See you next time.
See ya.